Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Now, you guys know it's an open secret. I love Rob Holding, man. I believe Holding can be a serious centre-half. I'm not in a debate for world-class and best centre-half in England, best English centre-half. I'm not talking about all of that. I just believe where Arsenal's concerned, where Rob Holding is concerned, he could be a very good centre-half for us. But that's in the future. I believe now he's quite good. I mean, you've seen him turn up against City, if I remember rightly. You've seen him turn up against Chelsea. Big game, United. I remember when we won that, he started. He was decent, if I remember correctly. Big games, he relishes that, and he stands up to be counted. Look how he handled Costa and them man there in the final. He's a young pro. So having said that, and I always tell you guys, we need Rob Holding to get destroyed. We need him to get ripped by the likes of Hazard and any other striker. We need him to get bullied physically in the air. We need someone to run on beyond him. Why? I've listed 3 different sorts of players, attacking players that he'll have to deal with, because it will make him smarter. Why was John Terry and Rio Ferdinand one of the best? Yes, they could both ball play, especially John Terry's underrated, especially with his left foot, how much he could ball play. But what made them a very good centre-half? Experience, the brain. They knew in the right place at the right time. If you're in the right place at the right time, you have half a chance, to be honest with you, regardless of someone's pace and things like that. Terry was never the quickest. People always said he can't play a high line and these things, and he knew he couldn't get into a foot race, so he made sure he was second guessing. My coach also always told me as a fullback, be pessimistic, cover your centre half, expect your winger not to make it, and that's what Rio and John Terry do. Holding's only gonna get that through experience. Like you can't learn how to kick a ball until you strike a football. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can't learn how to swim until you jump in the water and get wet. These sort of things. Well, you can do all the theoretical nonsense you want, but yeah, you need him to get ripped. For me, he's still incredibly naive, especially when it comes to, I call them conman strikers, the likes of, I don't know if he's played against Shane Long, the likes that they will see what they can get away with the ref. They'll make runs to disguise certain runs. They will do little conman things. Like he's very naive in that aspect. If someone makes a run on behind him, he doesn't learn and think, okay, this guy ran beyond me now, I might need to drop off a couple yards or get tighter and tell someone to cover me. Holding doesn't deal with that. He's still young. When you look at the scheme of things, he hasn't played that much football for Arsenal and definitely not for Bolton. We all know he had a loan spell, I think it was Bury, I believe, shortly before joining Arsenal. So it's still, we need to remember the man is 21, 22, one of these ages. They're my age, essentially. So he's still young, but I like him a lot, man. But I also have to believe, does he have to go on a loan spell? Now, if we cast ourselves back 12 months ago in January, at this time, he didn't make that many appearances for Arsenal either, but he got into the team around this time. So maybe that happens the same thing happens. But for me, I was looking at it that, all right, cool, it's his first season, he's adapting, he hasn't played that much football. This is last season I'm speaking about. He obviously needs time. And then he came on leaps and bounds, finished the season strong. Obviously, we need to remember, he played very well against Leicester. Got destroyed against Liverpool early in the season, but played well against Leicester. Just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, I thought obviously he got into the team. He played the FA Cup. He went through definitely the very lows that we went through, and he went through the highs at the end in May. I thought that would have laid down a marker. Holding, cool, I've announced myself. I'm going to put pressure on these centre-halves. Wenger, you need to look to me. No, that didn't happen because he still finds himself on the bench. If that, to be honest, you regularly see Chambers. I'm happy to see Chambers back. Chambers on the bench. You might see Mertesacker and Chambers. Monreal is favoured by Wenger more. Obviously, Mustafi and Koscielny are quite rightly better than Holding and deserve to play ahead of him if they're in good form and these things. So does he need to go on loan then? Because I'm looking at all of these bodies. I want Holding to play. I really believe it's gone now, but I believe if he played enough football, if you look at Joe Gomez, he could have been in for a shout at the World Cup. Obviously, January to May is not a long time, but it's a long time. A lot of football still to be played. He could. What I'm looking at is that he was playing for the under-23s a few weeks back against who did they play? Munich. I'm so sure he played against City earlier in the year. Obviously, the last game he played at first team level, I think it was the FA Cup, he got destroyed, so he doesn't really deserve to be back in the team. But Monreal's favoured when it comes to 3 at the back. Monreal's ahead of him. All of these players are ahead of him. Wenger seems to favour. I don't want to say Wenger doesn't trust Holding, because I mean he clearly does. He threw him in at the deep end in the FA Cup and things. But he's got his more trusted contingent, the sort of old age pensioners, the people that are retiring. Koscielny's I'm gonna have to call it a day soon as well. We know how his Achilles heel. He's still quality, but every season that goes on is a bigger ask. BFG is calling it a day, but he's on a regular basis picked ahead of him. I've already said Monreal is going to be picked ahead of him at 3 at the back, and things like that. And obviously Mustafi, Koscielny, there's them man there, and Chambers is ahead in the pecking order quite rightly as well. Now Debussy, he's frozen out quite rightly because he doesn't have a future here. if you look at it, that's if you just look at the basis that's a body. You look at the basis that young Greek centre half is a body. You look on the basis that some players in and amongst the squad can be forced at centre half, even though Nene Wenger will do it, like he did it when he switched against Chelsea briefly. And yeah, you'd think should Holding just go on loan then? Like, should he go on loan? I mean, couple Premier League clubs. I mean, Hammers need a centre half. Huddersfield, he'll get game time. Brighton, he'll get game time. Under Pardew at West Brom, he might get game time on the basis that Everton can't defend at the moment. They've been a bit better, but he might get game time. Like, he just needs game time now. He's at the stage where he's only going to learn from experience. You can tell him all the theoretical nonsense you want, and I'm not saying you don't learn from the theoretical side, because you need to marry the two together, but he needs to get destroyed. He needs to get ripped. I mean, he's only made 37 appearances for Arsenal on the basis that he's barely played any professional football really in his early career. 18 months ago, he was at Bolton or on loan to Burnley or something like that. Those of you that can be specific, specific. He's only made 37 Arsenal appearances. So on one hand, that's good. On the other hand, it should and could be more, in my opinion. If it was mine, it would be pushing double that, to be honest with you. And that might be a slight exaggeration, because I don't know how many games I've played, but he would have played a substantial amount. I mean, to put into context, he's only made 7 appearances in the Premier League this year. He's not been in the squad since the draw against Chelsea in the Chelsea team. We have to go back to October, the last time he played in the Prem, where he got 12 minutes against Swansea, the people we meet on Tuesday. Before that, the last time he got 90 minutes in the Premier League was the 1st of October against Brighton. And obviously, his performances came in the FA Cup until we got eliminated. He will always play in the Carling. Europa League, he's been getting game time. Premier League, he played here and there, but it's not enough, to be honest with me. Like, we need him to get destroyed. We need to sign a proper centre-half, and we need him to get destroyed. If it was me, Holding would be third choice, maybe even pushing second choice right now. Holding would have played a lot of games. Like, obviously, Wenger works with him, and these men work with him, so I don't know what's going to happen. I know Ben Chief has gone on loan. Bielik's injured at the moment, so even Chief's gone on loan. Bielik's a body as well. It don't look like he's going to go on loan because he's injured at the moment. Do you look at it as that, okay, as much as I like Holding, look at the bodies here. We might have bodies to deal with it. Do we now allow him to go on loan for 6 months, get some experience? I don't want to say confident, because he hasn't really had his confidence knocked. Get rid of the naiveties that's still in his play. Ultimately, just play 90 minutes and come back a stronger player, to be honest with you. Somewhat a fast track, because if we're not going to do it here, it might as well be done elsewhere. But yeah, man. Guys, Deluded Guna, YouTube's N'Golo Kante, 37 Arsenal appearances. Considering he barely played first team football, is very good. But it could be a lot more, and probably should be. And if it was me, it'd be a lot more. But anyways, guys, Deluded Guna, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. I'm signing out. Again, comment, subscribe, and do the rest. Thank you for watching, of course.